I have a new update as of right now as to what Zebec is doing. And let's get started because, for instance, Zebec not too long ago, they posted on X and it said that they're excited to meet the global financial community in Frankfurt, Germany at Swift's Sibos conference, September 29th to October 2nd, 2025. Now, I find this very fascinating because, of course, when I take a look at Swift, very popular, very massive. I take a look at, again, this conference, which some people may be thinking, okay, Sibos, what is that? Now, again, I've never heard about this conference before, but when I take a look at the Sibos account on X, they're followed by Quant, which is a project that I'm very bullish on, and it's also followed by the CEO of the Quant Network, which is Gilbert Verdian, right? Gilbert Verdian's very popular when it comes to Quant. That's usually what I think about when I think about that project. And also, Sibos is followed by Ripple, right? So I think that right there is also very fascinating. Might not mean much in the grand scheme of things, but I still find it very impressive nonetheless. Now, if we continue on to this post, it said that Zebec will be exhibiting its next-gen global payroll and card solutions alongside industry leaders like Circle. Now, Circle, it's the creator of USDC, the stablecoin. Circle is also publicly listed, not to mention Circle allegedly, even according to Zebec's own post on X not too long ago, it was stated that somewhere along the lines of Circle holds a significant amount of ZBCN. So I think that's pretty impressive. Also, not to mention, Circle is one of the allegedly early backers when it comes to Zebec. So I think that's just some food for thought right there. I think it's very interesting to see this nonetheless. And by the way, when I take a look at the Zebec Network, it does say as the image, I would say, right? It says that it's the exhibitor and event sponsor. So I find that very interesting when it comes to Zebec because Zebec, they could have easily probably sponsored an athlete or celebrity, but again, being an event sponsor here, I think showcases their priorities. I think it showcases that they understand that, you know what, this type of stuff matters more than, let's say, gaining attention that could maybe make it more popular, but if people don't really know what the project is or they're not in the space, for what, right? I think they'd rather just focus on the space that they're in. And fun fact, by the way, I've actually been to Frankfurt, Germany twice. It's very amazing. I've also, went to Switzerland twice. But besides that point, it's just a little bit of a fun fact. But yeah, I find this very fascinating nonetheless. Now, let's not forget, when it comes to Zebec, it does kind of highlight in this post, right? Payrolls and card solutions. Now, we take a look at what happened to the Zebec cards not too long ago, regarding Algorand. And I actually talked about that in one of my previous videos. Not to mention, when I take a look at payrolls. Now, why is this, I think, something that is very fascinating to me? It's because Zebec is quite essentially, the way I take a look at it, focused on instant payrolls, right? Payrolls, traditionally, sometimes we have to wait quite a while, sometimes to get paid. And instant payrolls, we might not have to wait that long. You know what I mean? Again, instant payrolls. Now, this is still something that I think is sort of in the beginning stages because I don't see many enterprises out there like kind of adopting it, I would say. But then I still find it very impressive nonetheless, and I like the concept. Now, some people out there, they may be thinking, oh, the Zebec cards, who cares about that? Many projects out there have cards, but Zebec, if we take a look at the Zebec cards, right, it's powered by MasterCard. And MasterCard is very popular, it's very famous. Not to mention, if we take a look at, Zebec, right, we'll see that, for instance, the Zebec cards supports many blockchains, like, for instance, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, the Base network, which, by the way, is Coinbase's Layer 2 network, so I find that very impressive. And, of course, many others, but I'm just naming a few here. But I think this is kind of a testament to, what, they actually treat the cards seriously, right? Because, if the cards do support multiple blockchains, if it's powered by MasterCard, it's something that I kind of feel that they at least take it seriously, right? Or not, how would they be able to achieve that? This is just my perspective. Now, let's not forget, when it comes to Zebec, at least when it comes to partners, right? Or like maybe even past, who knows? But again, it's even been stated that some of the partners historically, or should I say even currently, do include JP Morgan, Bank of America, Visa, MasterCard, just like I mentioned before, when it comes to Zebec cards, and also even many others. But when I take a look at something like that, I find this just very fascinating overall when it comes to Zebec because I think the project is being taken seriously. Not to mention, the cherry on top when it comes to Zebec for me is the Solana aspect. And Solana has been doing pretty good as of late, right? The attention has been there, the reputation. It's not like back then, when people thought, oh, Solana was known for network outages, which arguably at one point it kind of was because allegedly, quite a while back ago, it was, again, allegedly that Solana experienced 8 different network outages in just a time span of a year. That's kind of a lot, actually. I mean, that's nearly once a month for maybe a year. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that good back then. But then now, Solana, better layer one blockchain, in my opinion, at least in terms of the perception. I like it fundamentally. I like the Solana ecosystem. I think Solana is doing, hypothetically very good. And not to mention, ZBCN not too long ago was top 10 in terms of utility when it comes to Solana. So I do like that as well. Solana Ventures, one of the backers as well when it comes to Zebec. So I just kind of like this whole vibe when it comes to Zebec. Now, people may be thinking, okay, when it comes to this, conference, right? Or this, conference, people may be thinking, okay, who cares about stuff like this? Well, I think it's good in terms of gaining the name, or should I say having the name out there, because I think that Zebec, especially when it comes to ZBCN, it's not like a multi-billion-dollar market cap project where people kind of instantly know what it is. Many people that I know out there, they don't really know much about Zebec. So I think that this is good in terms of, kind of showcasing what they're about, because Zebec, it's focused on AI-based PayFi, focused on RWAs, otherwise known as real-world assets. It's also focused on payrolls, of course, like I mentioned before, has the Zebec cards, focus on global trade finance, focus on the payments market. Sometimes people don't really consider that. They just think, oh, it's just some random project. But then I think there's more layers to it. And I think this really gives chances for Zebec to kind of showcase that. And especially, right, to other people or other projects, I would say, that are in this space and, maybe not have heard that much about Zebec. So this is a good chance because, again, we got to imagine if something like Zebec is, in this exhibition or conference, right? I'm assuming also maybe other like type of massive projects or maybe people in this space attend that project and maybe it could, let's say, yield more partnerships. Who knows? This is just all speculation because who knows what's going to happen there. But then, in my opinion, I find it very fascinating nonetheless. And I think it's a good networking thing, right? Because, Zebec goes there, they might meet other projects' team members, they might collaborate on ideas, they may share ideas. Maybe it can improve Zebec, maybe not, who knows? But I just like it overall. It's like, for instance, going to a job conference, right? I remember when I was back in college, I attended a job conference and I just found it pretty interesting because there's all these like companies there. And then we just asked them, hey, what's this company about? What's it like working there? Whatever, right? So I find it very cool nonetheless. I kind of treat it something like that. But then, of course, this is maybe in a much more important scale because, these are like real deal projects, something like Zebec. So again, I find this very fascinating. But in the meantime, when it comes to Zebec, I'm still staying patient. The ZBCN, because of that Algorand news, I think, had a pretty, good rally. It's still kind of far from where it was not too long ago, but you know what? I'm still staying patient, and I do like seeing stuff like this. I think it's a very fascinating update. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just want to make this video and showcase a little bit about this. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.